There's two sides to every story. My name's David, and this is my story. Probably about a year or two ago. Before that, it never really crossed my mind. I just would feel sad a lot. And that was, the more I looked into it, the more I kind of asked, why am I so sad all the time? I started to discover different things, leading me to realize that it wasn't just sadness, it was depression. It's very difficult to describe in words, but if I had to, it is literally a living hell. It's kind of like any sort of handicap, you learn to live with it. I mean, I have my bad days, I have my good days. The bad days sometimes are really, really bad, but I've got people in my life that understand what it's like. They know that I'm not just acting out, or I'm not just sad. It's not something I can control. And thankfully, their understanding of that, they give me certain allowances, like as far as they don't just snap if I'm like, I don't really want to do this, or I don't want to go, or I'm just not in a talkative mood. You see a lot of people that react to depression in a way of, well, just be happy. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. I can have my girlfriend or my mom, no matter how many times a day they tell me they love me and I know it's true. Something in my brain just, it twists it and makes it feel, it tries to trick me into believing that, they're just saying it just to say it. And it's difficult. So, in that aspect, it does change my daily life. On those bad days, I've thought of everything up to and leading to the end, And I've had some very, very dark nights. There are scars on my body from those dark nights. It's to describe it, it's kind of like being locked in a very small cage with everything you've ever done in your entire life kind of poking and prodding at you, trying to get you to scream, but you can't, no matter how hard you try. And eventually all that pushing and poking, it pushes you towards the end of the cliff. And thankfully I've never fallen off the cliff, but there are days where I've gotten really, really close. And some days I can beat it no problem. Just a simple song or something like that, and I'm good. Other days it's me holding on for dear life by a fingertip. And like I said, some of the thoughts are incredibly dark. If you think of the worst, most terrible horror movie you've ever seen, multiply it by about 20, and that's how dark some of the thoughts get. It's never wanting to hurt anyone else. It's more me thinking that I'm worthless, that I don't have anybody that really gives a damn, that if I disappeared tomorrow, life would go on, and that I wouldn't have anything to pass on, to give. There would be no legacy. There would be no conversations 20 years later of, oh, you remember David, he was this and this, it's scary. I don't want people to think, oh, well, he's depressed, he's not going to want to do this. No, I want to live just a normal life. I don't want special treatment, because that makes me feel even more alone, because that's the thing with depression is you feel alone. And if you're being singled out because you're not feeling great about yourself, to give somebody special treatment that singles them out makes them feel even more alone. I don't want to be treated differently. I would just like people to know and be aware that I'm not always going to be happy. I'm not always going to be normal. You know, there's no real normal. There's I'm okay, there's I'm not okay, you know, and to let that dictate how you treat me is detrimental.